Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Good Saturday morning, DFW. Beautiful day. It's almost fair weather, wouldn't you say?
It is almost fair weather.
My first guest, I'm going to go ahead and call them the first family of the State Fair of Texas. They're not a dynasty, they're a frynasty.
That is right, we are.
Wanda Fernie Winter introduced the funnel cake to the State Fair of Texas decades ago, and her daughters, Christy Urpello and Jonna McKee, are with us as well, and they you probably don't remember life before the fair, do you?
I do. I was 17 when I started working out there. It was a lot calmer, but not as much fun. Not as much fun.
Jonna, how about you?
Well, I was very young when we started at the fair, but my first part of the fair was really hanging out at the Midway. It wasn't really working. It was going and winning stuffed animals.
But you are dedicated because did you go into labor
I did. I went into labor with my son making funnel cakes. And
That's dedication.
Yeah, it was dedication. And my dad went to try and find my husband, and I was like, okay, we're going to the hospital without him because it is time to go.
That's pretty
She was
remarkable.
still in labor when we got off that night, and we all went to the hospital after working at the fair all day, covered in powdered sugar, funnel cake batter, and we walked in the room, and she said, y'all stink. Get out of here because we smell like grease.
And she named her son Little Tex, which I think is that's dedication right there. That
Well,
really
actually, my dad was John. I'm a Jonna, and he's a Jonathan. So we carried on that little tradition of family there. There's lots of family traditions going on here.
Okay, well, let's draw attention to the First Lady of the State Fair of Texas, Fernie. Now, I'm going to give you the pleasure, Christy, of interviewing your mom. How about that?
Oh, holy moly.
What would you like to ask your mom about?
Mother, why don't you tell us all how you and Daddy found funnel cakes and how you brought them to the fair?
We taught round dancing, and we were at a camp in Missouri. We came through Branson. They had them in Branson. So we got all the details and came back here, started selling them. We were the first ones to sell funnel cakes.
Wow.
And everybody comes back to our place to buy. There's somebody else that sells them, but they're not as good as ours.
Absolutely.
And oddly enough, I mean, people do, she's not just saying that. People do come to the fair all the time and say, we will only have your funnel cakes because they're so much better.
Wow.
We don't know why they're different, but we're glad that they are, and we're glad that they keep coming back.
Now, Fernie's kind of a celebrity at the fair. I've watched how people fawn over Fernie. They really do.
Everybody knows me, for sure.
She sits at her table, the owner's table, and signs autographs, and people take their pictures with them. She's all over Facebook, and one of our friends said that going to the fair and having your picture made with Fernie and meeting Fernie is kind of like going to Rome and meeting the Pope.
Wow. They don't have to kiss your ring, do they?
No.
That's funny. Well, what are your most pleasant memories of the fair over the years, Fernie?
Well, the people you meet, and they keep coming back year after year. And I'll be sitting at I have a table that's for me. And I was sitting at the table, and they said, "You still here?" And I'm still here. I'm not leaving anyway soon.
Now, there's a bunch of trophies lined up in front of you. What are those trophies about?
They're from winning prizes that Christy won.
Well, we won 2 Best Tasting Awards, and then we also won an award for Best of the Best in 2000. I'm not sure what year this was. But the Fried Peaches was nominated. I think it was actually runner-up, but those are the awards that we've won.
You guys are all being modest. We've won some prizes. I mean, this is like the Oscar of fried food.
It definitely is. And to be in the top 8, it's been such an honor over the past 12 years to be in the top 8. Christy is the creative one behind it, doing all the creative thought process, and I'm the one, we're both CFOs. She's the chief frying officer, and I'm the chief financial officer. I mean, I'm coming back going, okay, how much is this going to cost? Let's pull this in a little bit. And her mind is just going at full force. It's kind of hard to rein her back. But let me say, her and Mother are a lot alike. They're both determined, and it's kind of both always their way.
Speaking of money, I haven't told you, but we're buying 15,000 of these this year to pass out.
She's holding up little chicken hats. So. We'll let you guys sort that out later.
You will just absorb that right now on radio, so you can't say anything.
Well, Chrissy, I'm going to put you on the spot because I'm sure it's like choosing between, who's your favorite child. What's your favorite dish that you've served up at the state fair over the years? What's your personal
Whatever
favorite?
we're in the contest with that year,
Really?
because I want to sell a lot of it. That's what I want to do. I want to sell a lot of it. I don't know. I mean, actually, our favorite dish, my favorite dish, and probably John's too, that we've ever done is our nachos. We created those. In fact, that is the original place where nachos were created. The ballpark in Arlington claims fame to it, but no, we were selling them at the fair prior to that.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. And so it's really funny when you work at the fair. You're surrounded by food constantly. Mm-hmm. I mean, anything. And you're like, nothing sounds good. Nothing sounds good out there. It's not what you want.
But we also I eat everything that we cook.
That's right. Our favorite thing is our nachos, where we'll be sitting there working on books or something, and we're like, I'm hungry. And let's just have some nachos. I don't know why our nachos are so much better, but they are.
Well, but Mom and Dad taught us a long time ago, many years ago, I remember Dad saying, do not ever serve anything that you won't eat yourself. And so we take pride. It doesn't matter if it's in the top 8. I mean, we take pride in that. But, our nachos are great. Our taco salads are great. I mean, that's just something I think even came from the history or that my grandparents had when they had their restaurant on 2nd Avenue. They had people lining up around the restaurant back in the
50s,
60s. So this goes before Mom and Dad.
We've been in the restaurant business 65 plus years.
Wow. Now, do you consult Fernie when, is she one of your taste testers?
Oh, yes.
Yes?
Oh, yes. In fact, when we were narrowing it down what we were going to do this year, I had Mother over there. We had some professional writers for different magazines over, and we were all taste testing it. And Mother was like, I like that. That's good.
Really?
She normally likes the sweet stuff, though. But
Gotcha.
our sweet entry didn't get picked this year.
Fernie, what's your favorite over the years? Obviously, your funnel cake. But
The funnel cakes are my favorite. And especially with strawberries and whipped cream on them.
Oh, yes.
Really good. So that's my favorite.
You have a little sweet tooth?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, she does.
And everybody that works for us, they know after Mother has had her dinner or her lunch, it's usually dinner, she'll say, have them make me just a little funnel cake. And so they make it just this little funnel cake. And we've got a lot of employees that really that love us and we love them. And they've worked for us for years and years.
Wow. I bet you guys are always creating, aren't you? Christy, can you turn it off, or are you always thinking, I wonder what that would taste like on a stick?
My son was recently looking at my iPad, and he said, Mom, do you know that you spend 60% of your time on your iPad on your photos? I said, yep, because those are screenshots of recipes I've saved, and I always keep going back to them.
Well, I wonder sometimes if you couldn't just wander the aisles of a grocery store and say,
definitely.
We do.
Would that be good fried, or would that
We do that.
Definitely.
Exactly.
And phone calls all year long from friends, people saying, hey, have y'all thought about frying this? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? And, Christy's pretty receptive to listen to some of them. But
Bert and I my husband and I were in New York in January, and Jimmy James, one of our employees, called me and said, Christy, I've been thinking, nobody's fried peaches out there before. And this is in January. Now, the fair's not until October. Right. And I told Jimmy, Jimmy, I've never fried a peach before, but I'll try it. Fried the peach. We won the prize. Jimmy got a raise, and he got to meet Oprah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, tell me about Oprah. Because she did come to this fair, what is this, about 3 years ago?
2009.
Okay. And Fernie, did you meet Oprah?
I did. I had lunch with her.
Wow.
And her whole staff was there.
Is that right?
And we had the best time. We had people standing in chairs to see her.
Wow.
And I had a purple jacket. She likes purple. And I had a purple jacket with rhinestones on it.
Wow.
And I wore that. And she said, love that jacket.
She was as sweet as she could be. It was a kind of a chilly day that day, and Mama was there was a little draft and she was cold, and Oprah looked at her and she goes, "You look cold. Are you okay?" And she just wrapped her arms around her and started rubbing on Mother to warm her up. It was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience.
People were standing in chairs to see her.
Okay. All right, you guys don't go away. We're going to continue this segment right after the break. We'll be right back.
This is the Jeff Crilley Show on Talk Radio 1190.
Welcome back to the Jeff Crilley Show. Now, I want to volunteer to be an unpaid taste tester for your moonshine. We're back, and we have the first family of the State Fair here. We have Fernie, who brought funnel cakes to the State Fair decades ago. We've got Christy Urpello and Jonna McKee, and they are just a dynasty. Some people call them a frynasty at the State Fair, and joining me is my daughter.
That's right,
Sarah.
And I have to say that the State Fair of Texas, I look forward to it all year long. And in honor of your deep fried chicken pot pie pockets, I'm going to put on this awesome chicken hat. It's falling apart. But so I really have to say that my mouth is watering just thinking about those deep fried chicken pot pie pockets with the mac and cheese dip. Can you make everyone's mouths water with what is in those deep fried chicken pot pie pockets? And what was the inspiration behind this year with the State Fair of Texas Choice Awards?
The inspiration was my son. He came home from work and he was hungry, and he said I had a chicken pot pie and macaroni and cheese. He put them both on top of each other in the microwave. Said, "Mom, this is really good." And I said, "I'm going to fry it." And that's where wow. But I did it a little bit differently because I really didn't want to muddle the flavors. And so I put the chicken pot pie in the pastry dough and deep fried that. And then the macaroni and cheese dip is on the side.
And it's delicious. I mean, I watched the judges, and every single one of the judges was going crazy about it. And one of the judges whispered to me that they thought you should have won, that you were their favorite.
Well, I like that judge. I like the way they think.
In my opinion, they won, and I will stand in line as long as possible to be able to get those. So where are they going to be served up at the State Fair of Texas here? And we also didn't mention when the State Fair starts.
September 30th. And
Wow.
I believe it's over October 23rd, I believe. They will be sold at the Dock Restaurant in the Embarcadero building and the Funnel Cake Stand, which is across the street from the Old Mill Inn. We have 5 locations out there, but those are the only 2 that have frying capabilities. So that's where it's going to be.
And for some people, it's like a scavenger hunt. Like they have to taste every one of the finalists.
They
don't
do.
They?
When they come in, they have their brochure that they've gotten from the fair, and they're saying, "Okay, where's this location? Where's this location?" And they'll ask us. They'll say, "So tell me, which ones are your favorites? Which ones would you go try if I'm not going to try all 8 of them?" So, and they do. They walk through and mark off their list, and we're going to have the people coming back year after year anyway because they like. It's a tradition. The dock is a tradition. So
now I notice there's a bunch of bottles in front of you.
Speaking of taste testing over here, so they have amazing food, but you do also bring some drinks to the State Fair of Texas.
We do. Several years ago, we came up with some wine-based cocktails, and it's really hard for people to wrap their head around this because they're thinking wine and they're thinking about the white or the red, but that's not what it is. Mm-hmm. It is an orange that has been fermented, so that's why it's technically wine, because it's been fermented and not distilled.
Right.
And so you get a neutral palate, and you can make it taste like anything you want to.
Wow.
So we created the Kix Crafted Cocktail several years ago, and this year we're coming up with hard sodas.
Wow.
Because hard sodas are the rage right now. I love them too, but when you have a hard soda that's malt-based, you kind of get that malt aftertaste, and you don't get it with the wine-based product.
And I like to think, wine is good for your heart. So after all that fried food, a little wine to just kind of even things
We're going to
out.
start using that as our marketing technique, Jeff.
Okay, so tell us about some of the concoctions that you have in front of us.
Well, these are the Kix Crafted Cocktails, like I said, and hopefully these you will be seeing retail
Okay.
soon. We have a distiller here in town that's going to bottle those for us, so those will be out. And these, we are just now fine-tuning the hard sodas as we speak. I have several different samples, and this one is a little bit more potent. This one's middle of the road. This one, we're just, because it's not just with the food, it's with everything. We are taste testing it to the last minute to make sure that it's exactly like we want it to be.
I bet you have a lot of volunteers to taste test the alcohol.
The alcohol, yes, we do, as a matter of fact. the day of the Big Tex Choice Awards in 2009, I was fine-tuning the recipe for the peaches that morning.
Were you really?
Calling Jonna at the grocery store.
I was going through, that's when we used to have a Brookshire's, but I was going through the grocery store at 6:30 in the morning. She goes, well, maybe get this. Well, maybe get this. So Christy definitely wants, there's perfection in everything that she does when she's serving a product.
Well, let's bring Fernie back on this, the first lady of the state fair. Now, Fernie, are you a teetotaler, or will you have an occasional sip?
I have occasional sip, yeah.
There you go. Now, what's your favorite of Christy's concoctions?
Would you believe I've never tasted them?
Is that right?
Cocktails? No, she hasn't.
she hasn't?
No.
Well, maybe we should start right now.
Maybe you want to sip of Orange Crush?
No, we can't have her drinking on the air, right? It could get crazy.
Don't have the carbonation in them, obviously,
Okay.
which they're going to at the
Right.
state fair, because we don't have the CO2 here.
Sure.
But this is just the taste profile that we're going to be getting, and then at the fair they will be carbonated just like a soda.
Wow.
So
And how have the wine-based cocktails sold in recent years?
we have done tremendous with it. We started out at the dock at a little bar in the corner. We expanded from there, and we opened up the Lone Star Lounge at the end of the Embarcadero building. And then the next year, we opened Fernie's Skyway Porch behind Big Tex, which has cocktails on tap.
Wow.
So it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So
The cocktails on tap, the production of them is crazy how fast they go through, because people first walking into the fair, they're seeing that and they're going to want a nice ice cold beverage. So
Right.
they're it's like beer on tap, but we have two tap wells.
And the weather makes a big difference, doesn't it? Christy, I think you told me, did it not rain a single day during last year's fair?
last year was so tremendous. I mean, the weather was perfect. It was great. The weather is the one thing that can beat all of us, hands down.
Right.
If it rains, if it's bad, I mean, nobody's going to do any business. We just can't. There was one year the weather was so bad that we sat inside the dock and played poker with toothpicks with the beer man, because there was nobody on the fairground.
And that was when the fair was 4 weeks long one year.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
We had a really large stand outside. And so there was no activity going on there.
Wow. Well, let's go back to the food. Do you ever retire food, or does it just I see the three trophies here. What do the three trophies represent?
Oh, she's just going to slam me on this one.
Uh-oh.
Why? Oh, I know what you're saying.
We retired. One year we had King Ranch casserole, and it really is probably one of the favorites that people have came back for, wanting the King Ranch casserole. And Christy would probably keep everything on the menu, but I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Production, staff, we can't do that.
And there's electricity. We don't have enough electricity to use all those fryers. I mean,
Right.
everything comes into play that you just don't even think about.
So we retired King Ranch casserole. And people
still ask
come in
for it.
every single year. Are you ever going to bring back the King Ranch casserole? That's one of our favorites. I mean, holy moly, carrot cake rolly will be there this year. There's no doubt about that.
Only at the dock, not at the funnel cake stand. Only at the dock.
And that won last year, is that right?
Yes, that was the best tasting last year. We have been honored enough to be in the Big Tex Choice Awards 10 out of 12 years.
Wow.
So one year we weren't eligible because we were picked by the Girl Scouts to fry a cookie. So and we were not in the contest that year. So
Well, sometimes musicians will say they know they have a hit as soon as they hear it, that this one is going to be a hit. Christy, do you have that kind of gut when you come up with a hit? Do you know it?
obviously not, because I thought we had one this year.
You did have one this year. I can't wait to have another chicken pot
We
pie.
did have one year. I think this year just the judges maybe wanted the sweet palate and not the savory palate. But at the Big Tex Choice Awards, we had people coming up to us saying, y'all should have won. Y'all should have won. So, we feel like we're a winner chicken dinner anyway.
Exactly, Jonna.
Okay, well, what's the one that you wish you could take back? Like one that you made that you wish you hadn't made?
Well, the reason I wish we hadn't made it, because it was so labor intensive, but we did tremendously with it, was macaroni and cheese balls. And there was 4 balls on a plate, so you had to roll little balls constantly.
Right.
But we did so well with it that we completely sold our food vendor, Benny Keith, out of macaroni and cheese.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I was going to every Walmart between Rockwall and the State Fair of Texas trying to find the Stouffer's mac and cheese.
Wow.
People said, "How do you do this?" And well, it's a secret family recipe. We just didn't tell them it was a Stouffer family recipe.
Wow. There was a shortage across the nation. All the people in Bismarck were, where's the mac and cheese?
When we did our peaches, we sold 8,000 pounds of peach slices.
Wow. No
4
kidding.
tons of peach slices.
That's amazing. Are you already kind of working on next year, or is it?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. And you're not getting it out of me.
It's a trade secret. That's funny.
You going to drink?
Well, why don't
This is the Orange Crush.
Oh wow! Look at that.
Here.
We're all gonna drink.
That's one sample.
Okay, I think we should have a toast to Fernie,
Oh,
the
thank
First
you very
Lady of the
much.
State Fair of Texas.
I can't
That's
wait for
good.
this reaction.
That's really good. Now, is it does it taste better with the CO2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it tastes a little bit fizzy, obviously.
but
like
no,
I
this
said,
is
uh-huh.
you could drink it right out of the bottle.
Uh-huh.
That's
What do you
this,
think, Jonna?
I think it just tastes like a drink that I'd get at Sonic with alcohol in
So
it.
this is the first year that you're bringing these to the state fair?
Yes, brand new. As far as I know, nobody else has hard sodas out there.
And how many flavors?
We're having 4. It's going to be root beer, Coca-Cola, Orange Crush, and cherry limeade.
Oh, these are awesome.
aren't they? Well, listen, I want to give Fernie the last word. Fernie, what would you like to leave our viewers with? What thought?
Everybody come by my place and eat and drink. And we are always happy, and everybody knows everybody in our place.
And if they come by, can they get your autograph and a picture?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
Mother doesn't even know this, but we have a couple of surprises up our sleeve for people that want to take their picture with her this year.
Oh, is that right?
Uh-huh.
That's
I'll tell you about it later on.
That's how they run my business.
Well, this was a great segment. Thank you so much for
Well,
joining
thank
us,
you for
ladies,
asking
and
us.
can't wait to see you at the fair this year.
Come see us.
Thank you much.
When we come back on the Jeff Crilley Show, a conference aimed at women in business. There are still tickets left and tables left. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Jeff Crilley Show on Talk Radio 1190.